Hello, my name is Latia Robinson, and I will be presenting to you Designing a Virtual Organization. This is from the Department of Psychology with Liberty University, and the class is PSYC 855, which is Psychology of Contemporary and Virtual Organizations. Topics. So for this presentation, we will discuss the advantages and disadvantages of designing a virtual organization, and we will also provide information as to what is needed to design a virtual organization. After, we'll go through the conclusion, and then you'll be able to view the references. The advantages of designing a virtual organization. Well, there are several advantages that are provided when establishing positions in a virtual setting, and this will include things like improving work efficiency, employee retention, employee satisfaction, lowering the cost, flexible hours, and improving the talent pool. In the next several slides, we will discuss each one in depth. Improves work efficiency, employee retention, and employee satisfaction. An interesting Stanford study by Bloom and his colleagues will be mentioned several times throughout the presentation because the study shows a lot of advantages concerning the option for work from home. In the study, there was an experiment on a Chinese travel agency call center organization called Ctrip. And this organization had 16,000 employees. And for the study, they randomly selected some employees, and half worked from home and the other half worked from the office, and this was for 9 months. They found some important data that will be discussed within the presentation. So what Bloom found about improving work efficiency is that there was an increase in performance of 9%, and there was less sick days and fewer breaks. They also had 4% more calls per minute due to the quieter working environment for the employees at home. Pillay and Prasad mentioned that employees like the virtual option because they find more time to be with family and it increases their happiness, which leads to employee satisfaction. With the right management, employee retention is feasible among employees who work from home as well. Lower costs and flexible work. Lower cost is one of the main advantages because it saves the organization a lot of funds. For example, they do not need to rent a space, have any cleaning or maintenance fees, amongst other things that would typically be needed in an office setting. Salaries can be decreased, and this is something called a fringe benefit. If the organization decides that they provide a work from home option, they can request to decrease the salary in order for the employee to work from home. Lower costs for employees could include a decrease in travel costs, eating out for lunch weekly, and a decrease in childcare. The concept of flexible work was discussed and stated to be a type of working arrangement which gives a degree of flexibility on how long, where, and when an employee works. Opon discussed that work from home environment post COVID-19. This option can either be provided as a full telework or hybrid setting, and this has increased over the years. Pillay and Prasad shares that 70% of employed Americans, if given the opportunity to work from home for the flexibility of work-life balance, would. Improves talent pool. So Opong informs that it is positive with having the ability to have a worldwide talent pool, and it can be presented with qualified personnel. And these are individuals who may not need in-depth training like an individual in their radius would need. With the work from home option, it does broaden the geographic boundaries, meaning that organizations no longer have to just hire people within a specific distance. And they can also have the option to hire that top talent, and it attracts a more diverse pool of talent. The disadvantages of designing a virtual organization. In this section, we will discuss lack of camaraderie, communication issues, trust issues, security and compliance issues, and distractions. Lack of camaraderie, communication, and trust issues. Lack of camaraderie can become an issue for employees, and Bloom informs that 49% of workers denied to work from home due to them being lonely and their lack of opportunity to socialize. And Pillay and Prasad also agreed, stating that professional isolation can be a disadvantage. OPOG even mentioned that in-office environments shouldn't be underestimated because depression can set in and isolation from coworkers can cause mental health issues. But there are things that can assist with this issue like socialization, which can include engagement activities for the team to assist with building relationships between the team members. It is also up to leadership to guide their employees through a better way of communicating, and Mujamdar and Kinte mentioned that a leader should have the qualities to be able to influence their team members. They also inform us that there are trust issues that occur to fewer face-to-face interactions between the leader and team members. Security and compliance issues. So the in-host servers represents the network for interface for malicious users. And the compliance of each in-host with security checklists is evaluated independently and with an isolation from network connectivity. However, Acera states that a comprehensive cyber risk evaluation requires a comprehensive analysis which will combine both the policy compliance of in-host, including the running services. Misconfigurations can include gaps within the cloud, such as hackers, malware, and security breaches. And things like this can be an issue involving unencrypted files, unsecure networks, malicious malware, and phishing attacks. In order to assist with better security and compliance, a virtual organization would need to continuously be active on all fronts when it comes to the safety of the information, whether that be the organization information or the client information. Distractions. So we all know what distractions are, and we've probably been distracted while we were creating our presentations, but distractions can be defined by Burford as being irritated by negative or undesired stimuli, which removes the attention from the primary task at hand. And distractions can also include individuals. So children and aged members at home can cause an increase of stress levels due to them becoming a distraction for an employee. And distractions can also be reduced. It can also reduce productivity and it increases things like stress levels, fatigue, and negative moods. Now, training distraction management strategies should be considered, and this was actually stated by Pillay and Kunte. What is needed to design a virtual organization? In this section, we will review virtual human resources teams, virtual technology, virtual leadership, virtual teams, learning and development, and virtual learning. Virtual human resources team, learning and development, and virtual learning. There is a need towards human resources management digitalization for extending the global value chain, concentrating on remote work, and that was provided by Pillay and Kunte of 2023. Learning and development ties in technology and human resources. It ties into it because technology influences organizational learning. And due to COVID-19, again, there was also a change in how education was delivered, which changed from in-person to virtual versions or online formats, and this included schools, individuals' workplaces, and it was just a huge flex from being in office and in an actual school building. Organizational learning assists with acquiring new abilities, and learning and development of these type of capabilities influence knowledge, trust, and understanding of the organization, and that is from Silligan of 2017. Virtual leadership and teams. Virtual leadership is stated by Silicon to be just a leader who uses a computer for task-oriented decision making and problem solving in a group via virtual world. And virtual leaders do not have the option to have that constant face-to-face interaction as an in-office leader would. So they do have to have specific training in order for them to be able to assist the best way they can for their teams. And I do want to just go over Exodus 18 and 21, which states that, moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men, such as fear God, men of truth, hating covetousness, a place such over them to be rulers of thousands and rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties and rulers of tens. And as we know in the Bible, there are several leadership examples that we reviewed, and we actually discussed some of these in our discussions. But virtual teams are teams that are geographically dispersed, and this is provided by Batterlick of 2022, stating that in order to be successful, to be a successful team leader, one must be able to provide team building, adaptation, successful communication, continuity, and trust effect, interaction, and leadership and decent coaching, along with several additional things that can be provided. And Baddeley also stated that respect from team members can be promoted by project vision, setting goals, and enabling accountability, amongst other things that can become a challenge without leaders having the e-training that they may need. Virtual teams were stated to be ineffective by Patel and Chiasson when managers perceived support resources as unavailable, apathetic, incompetent, and non-facilitative. Virtual technology. Virtual technology needs to be equipped with the right technology in order to thrive within a work from home environment or a virtual organization. And technology allows ways to access individuals anytime, anywhere, and they promote access to individuals across time and space. And this is provided by Chelsea of 2005. In order to keep a safe working environment for technology, this will include things like updating programs and systems, investing in a security training, keeping devices separate, enabling automated locking and password management, amongst other things. A study by Rep and colleagues in 2019, they provided a partnership between service users and researchers that assisted with the better feedback for their particular intervention. And the intervention that they set out to figure out is if a virtual world would work for mental health. So they created avatars and they provided a whole world for the service members to try out. And the feedback was provided in order to assist with adapting or making any changes that needed to be done for that particular type of technology. And this is something that is happening in virtual organizations as well. If there are anything that's provided, it needs to be typically tested first before they provide it to the organization as a whole. In conclusion, we reviewed the advantages and disadvantages of designing a virtual organization, and we also reviewed what is needed to design a virtual organization. So I leave you with 2 Corinthians 8 and 11, which says that, but now finish doing it also, so that just as there are was the readiness to desire it, so there may be also the completion of it by your ability. Thank you.